Are you going in somewhere? Said Harry. Well, yes, said Lockhart, ripping a life-size poster of himself from the back of the doors and his book and starting to roll it up. Erin called, unavoidable, gotta go. Well, about my sister, said Ron jerkily. Well, as to that, most unfortunate, said Lockhart, avoiding their eyes as he wrenched open a door and started emptying the contents into a bag. No one regrets more than I. You're the defense against the dark arts teacher, said Harry. You can't go. Not with all the dark stuff going on here. Well, I must say, when I took the job, Lockhart muttered, now peeling socks on top of his robes. Nothing in the job description didn't expect. You mean you're running away? Said Harry disbelievingly. After all the stuff you did in your books? Books can be misleading, said Lockhart delicately. You wrote them, Harry shouted. My dear boy, said Lockhart, straightening up and frowning. At Harry. Do you use your common sense? My books would have sold out as well if people didn't think I've done all of these things. No one wants to read about some ugly old American warlock, even if he did save a village from werewolves. He'd look dreadful on the front cover, no dress sense at all, and the witch who banished the abandoned banshee had a hairy chin. Come on. So you've just been taking credit for what a lot of other people have done, said Harry incredulously. Hurry, said Lockhart, shaking his head impatiently. It's not nearly as simple as that. There was work involved. I had to track those people down, ask them exactly how they managed to do what they did. Then I had to put a memory charm to them so they wouldn't remember doing it. There's one thing I'm proud of myself on, it's my memory charms. Now it's been a lot of work, Harry. It's not all book signing and publicly photos. You know, you one thing, you have to be prepared for a long hard slog. He badged the lids of his trunks shut and locked them. Let's see, he said. I think that's everything. Yes, only one thing left. He pulls out his wand and turned to them. Awful sorry, boys, but I'll have to put a memory charm on you now. Can't have you blabbing my secrets all over the place. I never sell another book. Harry reached his wand just in time. Lockhart had barely raised him. Then Harry blowed, Expelliarmus! Lockhart was blasted backward, falling over his trunk. His wand flew high into the air. Ron caught it and flung it out of the open window. Shouldn't have let Professor Snape teach us that one, said Harry. furiously, kicking Lockhart's trunk inside. Lockhart was looking up at him, feeble once more. Harry was still pointing his wand at him. Feeble once more. Harry was still pointing his wand at him. "What do you want me to do?" said Lockhart weakly. "I don't know where this chamber of secret is. There's nothing I can do. You're in luck," said Harry, forcing Lockhart to his feet at one point. "We think we know where it is, and that's inside it. Let's go." They marched Lockhart out of his office and down the nearest stairs, along the dark corridor where the message shone on the walls, and the door of Morning Muddle's bathroom. They sent Lockhart in first. Harry was pleased to see that he was shaking. Morning Myrtle was sitting on the tank of the ant toilet. "Oh, it's you," she said when she saw Harry. "What do you want this time?" "To ask you how you died," said Harry. Myrtle, who aspect changed at once. She looked as though she had never been asked such a flattering question. "Ooh, it was dreadful," she said with relish. "It happened right in here. I died in this very stall. I remember it so well. I didn't because Olive Hornby was teasing me about my glasses. They came in. The door was locked. I was crying, and then I heard somebody come in. They said something funny, a different language. I think it must have been. Anyway, what really got me was that it was a boy speaking. So I unlocked the door to tell him to go away and use his own toilet. And then," Myrtle smiled importantly, her face shining, "I died." "How?" said Harry. "No idea," said Myrtle in a hushed tone. "I just remember seeing a pair of great big yellow eyes. My whole body sort of seized up, and then I was floating away." She looked dreamily at Harry. "And then I came back again. I was determined to hunt Olive Hornby, you see. Oh, she was sorry she'd ever laughed at my glasses." "Where exactly did you see the eyes?" said Harry. "Somewhere there," said Myrtle, pointing vaguely toward the sink in front of her toilet. Harry and Ron hurried over it. Lockhart was standing well back, a look of utter terror on his face. It looked like an ordinary sink. They examined every inch of it, inside and out, including the tight pipes below. And then Harry saw it scratched on the side of one of the copper taps was a tiny snake. "That tap never worked," said Myrtle brightly as he tried to turn it. "Harry," said Ron, say something in puzzle tongue." But Harry thought her. The only time he'd ever managed to speak puzzle tongue were when he'd been faced with a real snake. He stared hard at the tiny engraving, trying to imagine it as real. "Open up," he said. He looked at Ron, who shook his head. "English," he said. Harry looked back at the snake, willing himself to believe it was alive. If he moved his head, the candlelight made it look as though it was moving. "Open up," he said. Expect that the words weren't what he heard. A strange hissing had escaped him, and at once the tap glowed with a brilliant white light and began to spin. Next second, the sink began to move. The sink, in fact, sank right out of the side, leaving a large pipe exposed. A pipe wide enough for a man to slide into. Harry heard Ron gasp and looked up again. He had made up his mind that he was going to do. "I am going down there," he said. He couldn't not go. Not now. They have found the entrance to the chamber. Not if there was even the faintest, slimmest, wildest chance that Ginny might be alive. "Me too," said Ron. There was a pause. "Well, you hardly seem to need me," said Lockhart with the shadow of his old smile. He put his hand on the doorknob, but Ron and Harry both pointed their wands at him. "You can go first," Ron snarled. White-faced and wineless, Lockhart approached the opening. "Boys," he said, his voice feeble. "Boys, what good will it do?" Harry jabbed him in the back with his wand. Lockhart slid his legs into the pipe. "I really don't think," he started to say, but Ron gave a push and he slid out of sight. Harry followed quickly. He lowered himself slowly into the pipe, then let it go. It was like rushing down an endless, slimy, dark slide. He could see more pipes branching off in all directions, but not as large as theirs, which twisted and turned, sloping steeply downward, and he knew that he was feeling deeper below the school than even the dungeons. Behind him he could hear Ron thudding slightly at the curves. And then, just as he had begun to worry about what had happened, when he hit the ground, the pipe leveled out, and he shot out of the end with a wet thud, landing on the damp floor of a dark stone tunnel large enough to stand in. Lockhart was getting to his feet a little way away, covered in small and white ghosts. Harry stood aside as Ron came whizzing out the pipe too. We must be miles under the school," said Harry, squinting around at the dark, slimy worse. All three of them turned to stare into the darkness ahead. "Loomis," Harry muttered to his wand, and it lit again. "Come on," he said to Ron and Lockhart, and off they went, their footsteps slapping loudly on the wet floor. The tunnel was so dark that they could only see a little distance ahead. Their shadows on the wet walls looked monstrous in the one light. "Remember," Harry said quietly as they walked cautiously forward, "any sign of movement, close your eyes right away." But the tunnel was quiet as a grave, and the first unexpected sound they heard was a loud crunch as Ron stepped on what turned out to be a red skull. Harry rolled lowered his one to look at the floor and saw that it was littered with small animals' bones. Trying very hard not to imagine what Ginny might look like if they found her, Harry led the way forward, around a dark behind in a tunnel. Bend in a tunnel. Harry, there's something up there, said Ron hurriedly, grabbing Harry's shoulder. They froze, watching. Harry could see the outline of something huge and curved, lying right across the tunnel. It wasn't moving. Maybe it's asleep, he breathed, glancing back at the other two. Lockhart's hand was pressed over his eyes. Harry turned back to look at the thing. His heart beating so fast it hurt.